So you've decided we are moving to Austin, Texas, me and the family, but I'm not really sure where to go to. On today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the top suburbs that you should be considering before making the move out here. In no particular order, we're going to start out with Leander, Texas. If you know anything about Leander, Texas, it has been one of the fastest growing suburbs in the entire nation for the past 10 to 15 years, and it continues to do so. And the median home price in Leander is right around $510,000. It is located about 25 miles northwest of downtown Austin. It is definitely one of those suburbs that a lot of people that reach out over YouTube, you either shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule that Zoom so that we can help you move to the area. You ask about the suburb a lot. A lot of you know, as you know, according to niche.com, it has top ranked school districts. It is definitely one of those commuter towns, or nowadays after COVID, a lot of people work from home. So they really want to be in this neighborhood that has a ton of amenities and more to come. For example, this is something that I really wanted to share with you today. The Cedar View Center, one of the most exciting developments coming to the area. According to the Austin Business Journal, they're calling it a once in a generation development. It is anchored by the Nebraska Furniture Mart. If you're not familiar with it, take a trip up to Dallas and you will see how huge this store is and what it brings around it. In total, it is going to be bringing a Scheels, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Scheels. It is a sporting goods store. It is also going to have a luxury hotel, a conference center as part of the project, a 250-room hotel, full-service hotel. It is also going to have a city-owned convention center, 700,000 square feet of warehouse space, and 250,000 square feet of retail outside of the massive store. And to give you some perspective on this, I have a lot of friends in the Dallas area. This particular project, when they built it out in the Colony area, to be specific, there was nothing out there. The Colony was still developing, but now that Nebraska has come into the area, there is so much more things to do, amenities, restaurants, bars, things to do for the kids. Obviously the store itself, which a lot of people from all over the country come just for the store, but then there's many more things to it. So this is huge for the Leander, and this is actually going to be in Cedar Park, but they're right next to each other. But this is huge. That's going to make Cedar Park and Leander even more of a destination and a top suburb to come to in the Austin area. So keep that in mind for you guys, which we all should be, right? Buying a home is probably one of the biggest purchases you're gonna make in your life. And this is definitely gonna protect your investment. It's definitely gonna increase the value of your investment long term, because this is a huge project coming into the area. Another project that you guys have heard me mention before, it is the Northline project, which is around a $1.1 billion project that's gonna have kind of the same thing, mixed use development with some multifamily, meaning apartments, some commercial, some stores, some shopping. And the cool thing about this project is that it's right next to one of the stations for the Metro Rail train that goes all the way to downtown. So that is two huge projects coming to Leander and Cedar Park area, which is definitely a suburb for you to consider. Now, when it comes to homes, like I mentioned before, $510,000 is the median home price. You can find homes around the $400,000 range, maybe the mid 400,000. Brand new homes, there's a ton of development going around. And if you have any questions about, hey Julio, we just don't know where to start, but we know that we want to move to the Leander area, you know what to do. Shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule that Zoom so that we can help you. And we have helped many families like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one move to the Leander area, and we can do the same for you. Another top suburb that I'm really excited about, number 2, I guess, and again, there's no particular order for these suburbs, but I just want to make sure I keep them in track. So we have Liberty Hill, Texas, which is just north of Leander, Texas, about 35 miles from downtown Austin. I'm really excited about the suburb. Why? Now, it has more of a rural feel to it, more of that country feel to it. Not a whole lot going on, but now they just announced a couple of weeks ago, actually at the end of the year, that a Costco and a Target are coming to this particular area. And that is, as you guys may know or you may not know, the Costco effect. Typically when Costco comes into an area, the surrounding location tends to develop even faster. This happens to Pflugerville about 5 to 6 years ago when they built their Costco right off of 130 and Row Lane, Kelly Lane area. Now, if you drive through that area, and it's going to continue to develop, there's so much more going on. Well, I think the same thing is going to happen to Liberty Hill. And I have helped about 3 families get into this particular development called Lariat Master Plan Community, one of my favorite master plan communities in the area. Of course, you also have Santa Rita Ranch, which a lot of people know about it. But then there's this other hidden community, so to speak, that has top builders like Tri Point Homes, Perry Homes, Lancy Homes, Chesmar, and Ashton Woods. Beautiful community with a beautiful amenity center with a view of the hill country. I have helped 3 families get into this particular suburb, one from Chicago, another one here locally, and then another one from California, and they love it. And now the good news that there's a Costco and a Target coming in. The median home price in this area, you can actually find homes right around the low $400,000, and actually there's a couple that are right under 400,000, so like 380, 390. A beautiful, beautiful product by Lancy Homes. I made a video about this before, so make sure to check that out in the description below. Beautiful product, beautiful finishes, and for the price, guys, amazing. And then of course you have Tri Point Homes, which is one of my favorite builders in the area. Not the only one. Don't get jealous out there with the other builders, but this is honestly, the way they design their homes, what they put in their homes is just beautiful homes. And again, I've been telling a lot of people about this particular community, about Liberty Hill, and I say, hey, make sure that you buy a home right now because there is more and more development coming. So the time to get it, and again, you know me by now, I'm not one to say that you need to buy right now. Right now is the time. No, the time to buy is your time. When you're ready, when your family's ready, when you're financially ready. It doesn't matter what your uncle, your family, your cousin, your brother, no, it's your time to buy. When I see where this area is going, if you're ready to buy, this is the time to do it. Again, if you're ready. Now, another thing that's happening is that 183 is expanding north. And so you'll have easy access to 183. You also have Ronald Reagan Boulevard, probably about another, 3 to 4 miles, which is another major highway coming in. So this whole area, like I mentioned the first one, Leander, Cedar Park, and Liberty Hill on the northwest corner. If you're looking at a map, that whole region, Cedar Park, Leander, and now Liberty Hill will continue to develop, especially with these 3 major projects and commercial developments that are coming to the area. More amenities for you as a homeowner. This is gonna maintain your home value as well. Now, on to number 3, we're gonna come south now. I'm going to change it up for you guys. Now, when we're talking about the hill country, these 2 particular suburbs, beautiful suburbs. One of them is the gateway to the hill country, which I don't talk about the suburb a lot, but I want to start bringing you more and more content about these 2 particular suburbs. We have Bee Cave, Texas, and then Dripping Springs. Let's start out with Bee Cave. The median home price in this particular suburb is around $900,000. And for a reason, it is beautiful around here. Typically, homes are a lot bigger. You can find homes on 1 acre lots, 2 acre lots, maybe half an acre. We're talking about homes at least 3,000 to 4,500 square feet homes. Typically in that price range, starting in the $800,000 and then going up into the $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, you name it. But it is beautiful out here. You could have access to Lake Travis. And then, of course, if you keep going northwest or west, you have the beautiful hill country side. Typically, the family that reach out that want to live in this area, they're either about to retire or they also have young kids because Lake Travis ISD or the Lakeway ISD, Lake Travis ISD also is a top-ranked school district, and they're looking for that as well. So according to niche.com, they are a top-ranked school district. So if that is your budget, this is definitely a suburb to consider, and you're only 16 miles from downtown Austin, so you have easy access to downtown. And again, if you're looking for a higher tier product, some of the builders to mention in this area, you have Drees, which is out in Rough Hollows. You also have in Sweetwater, which is a really nice development, which is a little bit further west. You have Chesmar. I don't believe that Weston's selling there anymore, but you have Chesmar is one of the top builders out there. Beautiful, beautiful development. Some of the homes are perched up on the hill. Again, it's just one of those suburbs that screams and speaks about what the true hill country is here around the area. And then, of course, if you're wondering what is there to do, you have Austin just 16 miles away. Then you have the Hill Country Galleria, which is where all your shopping you have a Whole Foods, you have shopping there that you can do. And then other big box retailers like a Target, you have, of course, the H-E-B and things like that. So access to that area typically is done through 71 Highway, which will take you all the way into downtown. Now, moving on to Dripping Springs. I have helped several families move to this area because it is, as they call it, is the gateway to the hill country, and it still feels that way. But it's another suburb that's on pace to develop like crazy, especially right now. They call it the Y. So they're expanding the highway and they're adding overpasses on this particular area. When you have 290 and 71, when they intersect, that's called the Y, which is in the Oak Hill region or area. This whole highway at that particular spot is expanding. And the project is set to complete anywhere around 2026 or 2027. And I think that this is gonna make Dripping Springs even bigger. Now, I know that a lot of the city and the residents that have been living in Dripping Springs for a long time have given a lot of pushback to this, but it is happening. And with progress and change can come some growing pains at the same time, right? But Dripping Springs, Texas, the median home price is around $600,000. Beautiful community. You have Belterra that was one of the first master plan communities in the area. Beautiful master plan community. They're not building any new homes anymore, but you can definitely find some resale homes as well. To give you an example, I have family members that are currently selling their home in this particular suburb. The cool thing about this suburb, which when you look back about 10 years ago, there used to be a whole lot in Dripping Springs. But now, right next to this particular community, you have an H-E-B, you have a Gold's Gym, you have a movie theater, and then you have some other restaurants right across the street. So there's a lot happening around this Belterra subdivision. And then you have brand new neighborhoods like Headwaters, Caliterra, one of my favorite suburbs around the area. I have two families that have bought a home here, and you have top builders like Dries, you have Pulte, and then other custom home builders. So if you're looking for a custom, semi-custom type builders, we can help you with that, just like we've helped these other families. And the price point for these particular builders is around 800, 900, and then up into the millions. Beautiful homes, beautiful neighborhood, by the way, very hilly, or some of the parts are hilly, and it just feels very spacious. Lots of trails for you and the family. Same with Headwaters. You have different price points there. You can go as low as in the $600,000 or in the $500,000 range, and then obviously a little bit higher than that. They have a ton of activities for the family here. They have a beautiful amenity center kind of perched up on the hill. I actually had a family that found me here on YouTube, moved here about 2 years ago. They were coming from the New Jersey area, and they were like, Julio, we're so worried, like our two little girls, they have so many friends up in New Jersey. I'm sorry, they were coming from Connecticut, correction there. And we just don't know if they can adapt, right? We just don't know if they can make any friends. And, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like they're little kids, they're going to be just fine. Because I hear this all the time from families like you, that are my kids going to adapt? And sure enough, I checked on them a couple of months later, and their kids have a ton of friends, not only in school, but in the community itself. They bought a golf cart. This family that I helped, they bought a golf cart so that they can get around the community. So it's a really, really nice community, very family oriented. They have a ton of activities for the kids. They have food trailers come, I think, once a week or maybe once a month. They have, Halloween parties, Christmas parties, you name it. So a really, really nice community. And then, of course, you have other ones popping up as well, closer to Dripping Springs downtown. But again, these two suburbs on the southwest area of Austin, Texas, they have that hill country feel. If you're moving from an area where you're used to seeing mountains, where you're used to seeing a lot of greenery, this is the spot for you, because you get that hill country feel, tons of trees. Correct me if I'm wrong, some of you out there, I think that Dripping Springs is a dark sky community, if I'm not mistaken, meaning that they try to limit the light pollution so you can see a lot of stars at night. So pretty cool. All right, moving up, we're gonna go back up north to Round Rock, Texas. A lot of you that reach out here on YouTube, you love Round Rock. You always ask about Round Rock. I have had not only homeowners, but investors wanting to buy in this particular suburb. One of the most established suburbs in the area, second to Austin, of course, about 20 miles north of downtown Austin. I live in Round Rock, Texas. We're about to move to Pflugerville, Texas, but I love Round Rock. I've been living here for a while. A lot of you that reach out, you reach out because it has top ranked school districts, and it is definitely a destination for many. You have a ton of amenities for you and the kids. You know, you have the Kalahari Resort, the Dell Diamond. You have the Old Settlers Park, which is one of my favorite amenities around here. Tons of trails. You can do picnics with the kids. You can just take them out there for the day and just have them run around. Of course, in the summer, you may have to adjust around that. But right now, which is the winter is typically pretty mild, you can take them out there for the entire day or on the weekends, and it's an amazing, amazing amenity. They have a bunch of soccer fields, cricket, the running track, you name it. Really, really cool suburb. And there's one particular community, which you have seen many videos about this community now, that has a super low tax rate of 1.9%. And you can find homes in the mid to high $300,000, and then of course as high as $500,000. And then if you come to the west side of Round Rock, so you have I-35 that's cutting through Round Rock. This particular community, it's on the northeast side of it. And then now you have two communities there, brand new communities that are on the west side. You have Saul's Ranch, which I actually made a video about this community. If your price point is around the $700,000 range, honestly, this is probably one of the most understated, non-talked about communities because it is hugging the famous Brushy Creek, and the homes are really, really nice, and the tax rate is 1.75%. Unheard of. So you can buy a home for $700,000, let's say $800,000, and your tax rate is 1.75. Unheard of. Two builders in this particular community. You can either build from the ground up, or you can buy a quick moving home or an inventory home. If you have any questions about this community, make sure to reach out to the number, the email, or schedule that Zoom. And then we have another community by Braun Homes. I believe they just started building, or they recently started building. They also have pricing in the mid $400,000s to maybe into the $500,000. So, and then of course, this is about new homes. If you're looking more for an established suburb, they also have that option. Townhomes, you name it. And it continues, especially on the east side of Round Rock, it continues to grow. And one amenity that a lot of people don't talk about is the downtown area. Really, really pretty, especially Christmas that just passed. You know, all the trees are lit up, a lot of the light posts, and it's a really cool amenity to have. Of course, you have the famous Round Rock Donuts, you have coffee spots, restaurants, and then they're expanding, and they're building another center. They just built a brand new library, so a lot of things to do in Round Rock. Before I forget, the median home price in Round Rock is $420,000, about 20 miles from downtown Austin. And up next, we have a suburb that I've been talking about for a long time now, probably for the past 4 years, which I always say, do not sleep on the suburb, just like the next suburb that I'm going to mention after this, but it is Hutto, Texas, which is just east of Round Rock, Texas. It's about 30 miles from downtown Austin, but I'm going to share with you something very important. So the median home price, before I share that important development that's coming to Hutto, the median home price in Hutto is $400,000. Now, this particular suburb, along with Taylor and along with Round Rock, which they're both sitting on Highway 79. So we'll put a map right here, and then I'll show you Highway 79 from Round Rock to Taylor. This 17-mile stretch of highway that they're calling the most desirable piece of highway in the entire country, according to a recent article that was paid for by the Williamson County, the Hutto Economic Development, the Taylor Economic Development, and the Rockdale Economic Development. They did a study to study this particular area because there's five major projects in this highway stretch. You have, of course, Samsung, which is a $17 billion development. You then have a $600 million development, a phosphoric acid plant. You have the Titan development, which is a Hutto Mega Tech Center, Skybox data centers in Hutto, and then you have the massive advanced manufacturing park being developed in the old Alcoa Corp site. So all that to say, you have 5 major projects, industrial projects that are in this area. According to this study, when this is all said and done at full build out of these 5 projects, and I'm reading for you guys, it could result in basically 200,000 jobs, $24 billion annual gross product, and another 34,000 jobs, and another $4 billion annual gross product for Williamson County, and then the one I mentioned previously for Millen County. So why are you mentioning this, Julio? It took you a while to get this out, I apologize. But what this means is that there's a ton of economic growth and economic stimulation coming to this area. What does that mean? Jobs. What does that mean? More homes. What does that also mean? The home value and the home need for this area is going to continue to rise. So whether you're an investor or whether you're a homeowner, this area is going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to bring maybe other amenities. But it is definitely a highly sought out area or highway stretch. And it is an area that I've been talking about for a long time. I recently posted a video about Hutto, this particular master plan community, which I actually just helped the family build their final home with a green belt right behind them. There's a photo of them right here. Beautiful family that they're gonna sell their house in Dripping Springs, Texas, and then they're gonna potentially build their final home here because they wanna be closer to family. But you have top builders in this master plan community like Perry Homes, Weston Homes, Highland Homes, then you have Empire Communities, you have Meritage, and this is a beautiful community that's just north of Hutto. It's still within Hutto city limits, if I'm not mistaken. And then I also brought to you on that video an opportunity unheard of in Taylor, Texas. This particular builder is selling homes with a fixed 4.99% interest rate for investors. And of course, for homeowners, a 3.99% interest rate fix. So whether you're an investor, to get a fixed rate of 4.99% is unheard of. And then as a homeowner, a 3.99% fix for 30 years is also amazing. And you're right next to the Samsung plant. So if you work at Samsung, or you're right there, or if you're an investor and you want to have Samsung employees stay in your house, well, then you're right there. So all that to say that this stretch of Austin, when we're talking about going from Round Rock, Hutto, Taylor, and now Rockdale, it is set to grow enormously, tremendously, and they're estimating over 200,000 jobs to this area alone. Just think about that for a second. 200,000 jobs alone for this area. So definitely an area not to sleep on. Definitely an area that you should consider moving to. You're only about 30 miles from downtown Austin. You're right next to Round Rock and all the amenities that it has to offer. And yes, there are still brand new communities popping up left and right. So definitely something to consider. Now, finally, let's talk about Kyle, Texas. You guys have heard me talk about Kyle in the Buda area. I usually group these two together. And it is another area that you should not sleep on because the prices are extremely affordable. You can definitely find homes in the low $300,000 and of course into the 400, 500, and 600. Just to name a few, some of the top communities in this area, you have Sunfield community. It has been building since like 2012, I believe. Beautiful master plan community, 2 huge amenity centers. I have helped several families that have found me here on YouTube get into this community. Beautiful community. Just to name a few builders, David Weekley, Taylor Morrison, Pulte and Centex are here as well, and they will continue to build as we speak. I think by the time they're done, they're gonna have about 8,000 homes, which is basically like a city that is located in Buda. And then right next to it, you have Prairie Lakes, which I have helped several families getting here because the prices are insane. You can get homes under $300,000 in this particular community. And then one of my favorite suburbs on the west side of Kyle, you have Six Creeks community. You guys have seen a video about this community as well. Beautiful. You get some of that hill country feel. You have top builders here too. You have Perry Homes, Highland Homes, Coventry, Pulte, just to name a few. And then we heard not too long ago that Toll Brothers, one of the top luxury builders around the entire country, is also coming around this area. In Kyle in particular, in the Buda area, guys, it is growing a ton. You have the Vibe Park project. Costco, of course, just built a brand new store there. You have the brick and mortar project. You also have a brand new film studio coming in just south of that in San Marcos, and many, many more projects coming to the area. I mentioned this on the last video, but Kyle is working to approving a convention center and a hotel for Kyle, which is only going to make Kyle even more attractive. So do not sleep in Kyle, in the Kyle and Buda area. Now, one thing that I want to add, because this has been happening a lot. When I talk about homes that are under $300,000, you have to keep in mind that this is an up and coming area. And most of these homes that are under $300,000, there's not a whole lot going on around you. You can still get a beautiful, especially if this is your first home, this is a perfect opportunity to get a home under $300,000. However, you have to keep in mind that the grocery store is probably 15 to 20 minutes away. You're not gonna have a ton of restaurants around you. It's gonna feel a little bit isolated, but at the same time, in this whole video I just mentioned to you, all of the growth that is coming to the area. And I honestly think that we're on this track for this entire Central Texas area to grow for the next 20, 25 years, 30 years. So it's just a matter of time, guys, before you have everything around you. So if you can think more long-term and know that if at this time you can only afford a home right around $300,000, $350,000, maybe below, you may not have all the amenities that you need, but you will own a house. It'll be yours. You can actually say that you're the homeowner. You have no idea how many clients we get and families that we get from out of town that they're in a higher cost of living area. They say, hey, Julio, we just cannot afford a home here. And then when they come here, they see the type of home that they can get, and they can get a little bit particular about the area, the home itself. But remember, they kind of lose sight of what's important, which is to own a house, stop paying rent, and create value and create equity, which is gonna allow you to get to that dream home in that dream area that you may need. I know I went off on a tangent, but that is very important if you're reaching out and your budget, and you're a first-time home buyer and your budget is much, much lower, let's say under $300,000 or right in the between $300,000 and $400,000. Very important to keep in mind, but we can still help you stop paying rent and become a homeowner. I'm done with my tangent. I hope you really enjoyed that video. Until next time, adios.